Newton's first law of motion, also known as the law of inertia, states that an object at rest will remain at rest, or an object in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon by a net external force. Consider a hockey puck sliding down a frozen lake with zero friction. According to Newton's first law, if there are no net external forces, an object in motion will remain in motion. In the case of the puck, we should expect it to keep sliding on and on and on forever, as there is nothing to hinder its movement. In reality, ice is not perfectly smooth and pucks do not slide indefinitely. This is because there is an external force of friction which acts opposite to the puck's movement, slowing it down and eventually bringing it to rest. Newton's second law of motion states that the net external force acting on a system is equal to its mass multiplied by its acceleration, or F equals ma. This means the greater the mass of an object, the more force is required to accelerate it at the same speed. Let's take a look at an example. In order to get an empty shopping cart to move, you must push it. The harder you push it, the faster the cart will move. However, now, if your shopping cart is full of groceries, it'll be much harder to push the cart at that same speed. So, if you were to apply the same amount of force both times, with the full shopping cart and the empty shopping cart, Newton's second law states that the empty shopping cart, which has less mass, will have a greater acceleration than the full shopping cart, which has more mass. Newton's third law involves force pairs and states that every action will have an equal and opposite reaction. Let's consider the act of stubbing your toe. As you hit your toe against the leg of the table, you are exerting a force onto that surface. However, the reason this action hurts so bad is not because you kicked the table, it's because the table has exerted an equal force back onto you. In this case, your toe and the leg of the table are a force pair exerting equal and opposite forces onto one another. Now, to recap, let's remember that Newton's first law of motion relates to the law of inertia, where objects in motion tend to stay in motion, or objects at rest tend to stay at rest unless acted upon by a net external force. Newton's second law of motion involves the equation force is equal to mass times acceleration. And finally, Newton's third law involves force pairs which act equal and opposite to one another.